Coming up on the Code Bet Daily, it is the EPL season preview for 2023-24. I'm here with the two numbskulls that support Chelsea. Stats guy, what have we got?
Very nervous Chelsea fan here, but I think Aston Villa are going to continue some great form at the end of last year, and Wolves, I don't trust them at all this year.
Marcus, we renewed your contract for a new season because Stats guy offers nothing. What have you got?
I'm a somewhat optimistic Chelsea fan heading into the season. Not with Nkunku's injury, but I think Sheffield United could do even worse than Luton.
Ooh. We do have some big calls about some teams that are going to slide down the table, as well as some movers and shakers in mid-table mediocrity. It's the Code Bet Daily EPL show, and it's coming your way right now. Hello and welcome to the Code Bet Daily. It is August 8th, but most importantly, this is the Code Bet EPL show, the season preview of the 2023-2024 season. I'm your host, Alex Donnelly. I'll be joined today by the stats guy, Lee McAllion. He's over there.
As always, got my Chelsea scarf on. I'm just glad we don't have to talk about last season anymore because, new beginnings.
We're doing an EPL show and he's wearing an Ajax kit, but hey, fair enough.
It just is my favourite kit. I got my Chelsea.
It's a nice kit, I'll give him that. And to my right, in the middle, because stats guy actually pulled rank for once in his life, is Marcus from odds.com.au. Marcus, how are we?
I'm very good. It's a bit of a new setup since I've been here last time. It's very nice. Bit of an upgrade. The studio's
It's good,
That's right. Marcus is in the studio for the first time. So for the EPL season, it'll be the three of us here all year trying to, we'll endeavour to bring you every week and every preview. When there's a midweek show or game round, we'll try and do that as the Code Bet Daily because God, we do a lot of content here at codebet.com.au. You should actually go check out their website because it's pretty good. A lot of stuff going up there right now. Stats Guy's just thrown up an NRL try scorers. There's a Brownlow preview. I've talked about Charlie Curnow and Tex Walker for about 1,000 words as to who can score the most goals in the Coleman there.
Nice.
But we're here for the EPL show, and as said off the top, this is the season preview. So we're going to quickly go through. We'll try and be quick, let's be honest. This could go for a long time. We're going to talk about
Arsenal. I'm going about your time.
Exactly,
Arsenal. That's right.
Talking about all 20 teams with a quick preview, some bets, player props, and then at the end, we'll give our, hot takes, relegation, top four, et cetera, and best bets of the season.
Sure.
Of course, here at Code Bet in the EPL show, we do have a rule. And we're going to keep this rule forever. You cannot tip Erling Haaland anytime goal scorer during the game previews because, anyone can do that because he is a cyborg freak.
Yeah, he's not real.
Other rules will be added as the season progresses because we've gone through about probably 10 by now. But hey,
I think you got put a rule on me on Miggy last season. But
there was a rule on Miggy, there was a rule on Ishak at the end, and then I had a rule put on me about Marcus Rashford and Tony Khan.
Yes. But
the most important part about the Code Bet EPL show, it means Stat of the Day is back.
It is.
Stats Guy does have a few, and let's get to them some stage throughout the show. We'll just throw them in, just go, hey, here we go.
Nice.
But more importantly, how do we feel about the season before we just go bang and get started?
In terms of the overall season, I think it could be a little bit competitive. Man City might drop off a little bit, but they're still the heavy favourites. Arsenal, your boys, I think they're going to be up there. A bit, after pre-season, I think Marcus was talking about as well. Chelsea looks solid in pre-season, which has surprised me a little bit. So, not too bad.
I do it like AFL. I don't pay attention to preseason games because I just don't believe anything. It's just like, let's actually wait till the season kicks off. But hey, that's enough shenanigans. Let's rip into this season preview. All 20 teams.
All 20 teams.
Going to go alphabetical order because, you know what, that was just the simplest way. And of course, that means
Arsenal's first.
I didn't want to. I wanted to go reverse order. Then I was like, this could get really confusing.
We could have gone AFC Bournemouth.
Yeah, we could have. Really could have. But no, they're in there anyway. So we've all done a couple of teams throughout. We'll just get into it. But hey, let's start off with Arsenal. Last season, of course, the runners-ups finished second with a record of 26-6-6. They are $6 to win the title, $1.67 to be the top London club. I'm going to start off pretty simple. I think they can win the league this season. I think the $6 is an awesome price. Arsenal have had added depth to their squad in all areas with Rice, Havertz and Timber. Apparently David Ray is coming in from Brentford in the next couple of days, which seems
he's a gun,
wild. It's ridiculous to have Ramsdale and Raya in the team together. The important thing for Arsenal is I think they need to stay fit and deal with the demands of Champions League to be able to win the title. They did play Europa League last year, obviously, but obviously Champions League is a different kettle of fish and a different class record. But you have a look through this season towards that back end. Lapses against West Ham, Liverpool and Southampton all within a week and a half just cost Arsenal the title, all three of them being draws. They need to be stronger defensively, which is why I love the signing of Urian Timber, but also it means William Saliba needs to stay fit. If you did watch the Community Shield over the weekend, you saw that Erling Haaland saw Saliba and went, Saliba, and got
Yeah.
a bit nervy. Yeah, exactly. We need that as a sound bit too, Gerald. But you have a look, obviously, in the off-season, some players look to have improved. I know you don't pay attention too much, but you like to see, it was like AFL one for a second. Errol Goulden had 7,000 possessions against Carlton.
He's got a Sydney reference in Arsenal.
You know what I mean? He's been great all year. You saw Fabio Vieira. He was really good in the preseason game, scored a couple of really nice goals, and he looks to have finally settled in. Plus, the two signings in Havertz and Rice that have been playing in the EPL, so it's not going to take them a while to settle into the demands of EPL. The loss of Xhaka has been mitigated by Jorginho coming in during January, and he's a calmer influence in the midfield and can control the game a bit more than Granit Xhaka.
I definitely wasn't a fan of Jorginho when he was at Chelsea.
Okay.
I thought he was a bit overrated.
I thought
I wasn't a huge
He was
fan.
overrated.
I like him as just
him,
that calming influence. It's like, all right, boys, settle, like, relax. Like,
I think
he's not going to take the game by
Whereas
storm.
Arsenal, sometimes when something goes wrong, it all goes wrong in like 10 minutes. So I don't like that whatsoever. I think the top London club is an absolute lock at $1.67 because Tottenham and Chelsea were about 20 points off.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to see them making up a 7-game differential. I think the top three certainties, the $13 about Arsenal and City, the exact with Bet365 is
13, wow.
Really happy with that. And also, you pointed this one out to me, Stats Guy, $3.25 for them to win the league without Man City. So they can just run second to Man City.
Yeah, that's good odds if you think they're going to win the title anyway. So, yeah.
Exactly. So I'm up and about this. So my best bets for Arsenal this season, over 79 points at $2.10. We got that very easily last year. I don't see sort of how Arsenal go backwards from there, provided everyone stays fit. Happy and healthy. And two player props I love. Martin Odegaard, 10+ goals at $1.57. I think he'll drop from that 15 that he scored last year because obviously with the additions of Rice, Timber, Fabio Vieira plays a bit more game time as well. I don't think he'll score as many goals. $1.57 there. But Bukayo Saka, 10+ assists at $1.83. Bit less pressure on him this season to play absolutely every game and score and do everything. So if he can have where it's like, I don't need to do everything every game.
Because there was a period there for when Jesus was out where it was sort of on his shoulders.
Yeah, he had to score, But
he
that's
has
not
to
his
score,
role,
he has to assist, he has to do everything, obviously. And Kedia, I still not sold on him completely. I love Balogun, but I think he's going to leave. And I didn't put in Gabriel Jesus to be top scorer because, once again, he's injured. So it'll be interesting to see. Also didn't mention like Trossard, if there's like a 5-10+ goals for him this season.
Even assists, he loves an assist.
So I think it's really exciting for Arsenal. I'm all in. I reckon they can win the title, and there's no better way to start with that than the title. So show's over. All right, let's go.
Alex is out pretty much.
I'm out. See you later. I'm in the kit.
I hate to admit it to you because you always roast our team, but Arsenal got a massive chance. $6 is awesome for the second favourite when Man City $1.70, which not worth it at all. But Arsenal were right up there. So.
I think it's been important that they've actually been really active in this transfer window.
Oh yeah, they got their deals done early. They've been settled for a month.
Yeah,
obviously all their big deals are done.
Training and stuff.
Yeah, clubs will improve. Chelsea are going to improve. Liverpool are going to improve. Even Tottenham maybe. So I think that's been crucially important that they have done that. But I saw that Havertz started as a false 9 in the Community Shield. Not impressive if you want him as a finisher though. That's the only thing
I think that's something that can improve.
As a 9.
He was good. There was a goal he should have scored, but I think the fact that he's tall and strong is something that Arsenal don't have because you look at Nketiah, Martinelli, Saka, and Jesus. They're all small.
Small guys.
He's 6'4" or something like that. 6'6". He's tall. It's something that Arsenal don't have as in their attack. All right, Arsenal done. Let's move on to Aston Villa. Who is this?
Quick that was me, Aston Villa. The villains. James, our editor's team. I think he's all over him now.
Yeah, he's jumped on the bandwagon.
Jumped on the bandwagon, absolutely. They had an amazing finish to the season, up to 7th. The start of the season, Stevie G was the manager. He looked absolutely horrible. They looked like they could have got relegated. Then bring in Unai Emery, your old manager, Alex, in Arsenal.
I didn't want him in that club. He sucked at
He was
Arsenal.
bad at Arsenal, but for some reason, he's absolutely turned Aston Villa around. They only lost 2 of their last 15 games, and in those 15 games, they had 12 wins. So I'm pretty sure after the start of January, they were the top team in the league pretty much.
And when he came on board, it was the longest that a manager went without a defeat or something.
Yeah. So I still can't believe they finished 7th. I think they're going to be up in that top half of the league once again. You got Emi Martinez in goals, obviously World Cup winner. Argentina, he's an absolute star. And Watkins up front, who, second half of the season especially, every time he got the ball, he was just scoring. I think we had a lot of anytime goals bets on him as well. And then they recruited Moussa Diaby, I think is a really solid player from Bayer Leverkusen. And then Yuri Tielemans, who we've loved on this show as well, from Leicester. So I think, when you look at that team that's finished 7th, they've recruited really well in attack, which I think their defence was really strong already, especially with Martinez in goal. So they've done really well in the off-season. I do think Chelsea and Tottenham, who are lower than Villa, last season could possibly jump back above them. Though is the only thing. I think Chelsea also recruited really well. Tottenham, I don't know. It could go either way still. That's with them every year.
Chelsea could go either way as well. You sold off assets like it was the end of financial year. Well, it actually was.
We somehow made a net profit from this.
That is ridiculous.
And looking at just over the overall recruits, I still think, Chelsea and Tottenham might bounce back slightly this year, meaning Villa, although they're going to be pretty strong, might drop back down to that 9th or so spot. They did have 61 points last year, I think, though, and I reckon they can get around that similar sort of mark. They had a full pre-season. I think you were talking about this, Alex, under Unai Emery. So the over 58 season points is $2.15.
Yep.
I don't see them going backwards. I could see them getting around about the same, maybe even that 59, 60 points. I don't see them going really far back just because, they're recruiting well. And then Brighton, they were only 1 point above Villa last season, but Brighton didn't finish as strong as Villa. As I just said, I think a pre-season under them, better recruits, I believe. So Aston Villa to finish higher than Brighton. A lot of people still have Brighton up there because they've got a pretty solid squad as well, but Villa's squad overall, I think, just has the depth. So Brighton higher than Villa at $2.25 was pretty good value there. And it's pretty much the same bet, is betting without the big 7. So it usually is the big 6, but the betting sites have added Newcastle into there, which is fair because they were awesome last year. So betting without the big 7, Aston Villa to top that. So is $2.50. So I don't
that's obviously your 2 Manchester teams, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, Newcastle.
Yeah. So I think they're going to have a solid year. They've got really good depth, but it just depends how the Chelsea and Tottenham go. Because usually they're above them.
They could definitely be a dark horse or even Champions League.
Champions
League spots.
They've got such a good team. Yeah,
they brought in Pau Torres, who's a excellent centre half. Torres
as well.
Diego Carlos is coming back from injury, so that's basically you got Emi Martinez, Pau Torres, and Diego.
Yeah, amazing.
They've still got Coutinho too.
Yeah, I mean, Diego Carlos was the first choice for Man City when they got Ruben Diaz. So he's obviously a good footballer. So I think, they could definitely be an underrated pick for Champions League.
Yeah, and just note, all of these odds, unless specified, are with Bet365 because they have an amazing multitude of markets for punters to delve into this season. So unless specified, they are with Bet365.
Yep.
Bournemouth, last season, 15th. Who's this, Marcus?
That's me. Let's go. Title, obviously, don't need to worry about that, but they're 1,500 with Bet365, obviously. I've gone for them to finish above Sheffield. I think I'm going to be optimistic with Bournemouth this season.
Okay.
$1.50 with lads. I think Sheffield United. I think they're destined for
Tough
relegation.
Straight up, yeah.
Yep, and Notts are going to be in that relegation scrap again.
How dare you besmirch the good name?
we do like Notts. But you might.
But if you're looking for them to finish above Notts at $2.10, I think is a bit of extra value.
Yep.
Because as I said, I think they will be around that 14th to 18th. Bournemouth scrapping that relegation. Something that's caused a bit of unrest is Gary O'Neill got sacked after somehow keeping them up. It looked almost destined that they will be relegated.
And he still got sacked.
They've replaced him with Rayo Vallecano's Andoni Iraoli. I think if I pronounced that right.
Yeah, you done.
Sure.
The Australian accent throwing us off there. But he plays much better football, much more attractive football. I think that's why they brought him into the club instead of Gary O'Neill.
Okay.
He's more of that football hipster manager. He got brought up from he brought Rayo Vallecano up and then finished mid-table with them 2 consecutive seasons. So he plays some very good football. I think they've made a lot of not stereotypical Bournemouth signings in this window. Justin Kluivert is a Bournemouth player, and to get him for 11 million from Roma, who's been at Ajax, Roma, Arsenal were linked with him a few years ago.
I think it's weird to go from there to Bournemouth.
It definitely is. I think, I mean, the Premier League's a big thing, but
probably,
had enough of Jose Mourinho probably. But other than that, I think they will survive.
Stay up?
I do. I think overachieve. I think they'll probably be around. By overachieve, I mean 14th, 15th.
Still in the bottom.
Just pretty much stay up.
Stay up.
Yeah, but I think their top goal scorer with Ladbrokes for the club, Dominic Solanke. I think it's easier said than done. It's $3, main man up front. Had to be him.
Yeah, easy. Cool.
Nice.
All right. I've got nothing more to add there. If you think they'll survive, good, I think they'll struggle personally, but that's me.
Yeah.
Brentford, last season, one of the surprises of the season, finished 9th with a record of 15, 14 and 9. God, I love Thomas Frank. 400 to 1 to win the title. A top half finish, $3.25. A bottom half finish, $1.33. That's obviously all rolled in, given Ivan Toney is out till January because, well, you know what? He loves a bet. And here at CodeBet, we love that.
We might have to get him on the show, I reckon. He's not doing anything for 6 months.
Probably. I don't think it'd be smart for him to do that, but sure. David,
smart for us.
Obviously, Ray are about to leave and potentially go to Arsenal. Arsenal as well. Nathan Collins has come in at centre-back, but they've brought in Kevin Chaffee and Mark Flecken, who've both come in from Freiburg. So a winger and a goalkeeper that they've brought in, which, having a look into Flecken, he's got 23 clean sheets, so he's Flecken good in his last 2 Bundesliga seasons.
Yeah, that one
I just made that up. Have a look at the run sheet.
Actually,
I don't know if I'm a fan of that one.
But just going over them, so they went 10-7-2 at home last season. Their losses were to Arsenal and Newcastle, so that's pretty good.
Yep.
They went 2-2 against Manchester City. They beat them just before the World Cup.
I forgot about
the
that.
last day of the season. That
Still,
was when
totally.
we were away. We're like, Man City have been sinking beers for 3 weeks. Like, they're not trying. But with that, with obviously no Tony and Ray, I see them sliding a bit, but not too far. So I think they're going from that 9th range to that just into that bottom half. They're not in danger whatsoever.
Yep.
As I said, Thomas Frank's an absolute genius.
He's a good manager.
The additions are good, not great. I think 10th to 13th sort of is their zone. I don't want to take the $1.33 bottom half. There's no interest in that for me whatsoever. I love the $1.72 to finish higher than Everton.
Yeah, that's...
And the $2.50 to finish higher than West Ham.
Yeah, what's with people rating West Ham?
I don't get it. West Ham have lost their best players and have bought in no one.
Yeah.
We'll get to them later.
Literally no one.
Those are literally my bets, and I struggled to find like a top goal scorer in that bet in that like
Top,
with player
I
props.
don't mind in Buemo. So
Yeah,
you got no
it was
Tony.
$2.20.
Yeah, that's still pretty good, I reckon. Yeah,
Yeah, but
because Tony is second favourite still, and he's going to be coming in January. I don't see him catching up.
I just see them sitting in the mid-table, not in any danger. They'll knock off a couple of teams at home. Everyone like, oh yeah, Brentford. Yeah.
Yep.
Crap, not them again. They'll be a tough team to beat, but they're not a danger of anything. This is a mid-table year, and then if next year they can build from there, we'll see. But yeah, that's them. All right, stats guy, Brighton.
We loved them on this podcast last year. They made us some money for sure. They finished 6th, so it's sort of like Villa, sort of surprised everyone. They were more stronger at the start of the season, but they still were very consistent, had a few draws against some top teams.
They hit the wall late.
But they did hit the wall late a little bit, yeah. They did lose some random games in the last few months. I've written down here to Everton and Notts, who were battling for relegation, and Fulham, who were 10th. They did hit a bit of a wall late, but they do have a really strong team. I think Villa were the better team overall in the later parts of the season, because and Chelsea and Tottenham will improve. So in saying this, I think Brighton might slip a little bit.
Okay.
I do think they got a strong team. You got Matoma, Ferguson, who I'm about to talk about, who's on the rise. So I might as well talk about him now. He's a rising star, just 18 years old. Alex loves him. He's from Ireland, so that's a little bit.
Hey, what a man! The ball. I hope he stays at Brighton for like another 2 seasons and then gets sold for like $100 million.
I think he's one of those guys that could just end up.
He's
being
18.
sold.
Definitely could.
18. So he had 14 goal contributions across all competitions last year. Didn't even start a lot of those games. He came on,
It was late in the season.
scored a few winners. I think it was in the FA Cup. He looked really awesome. I think he's going to take his game to new heights this year. Got Matoma, who scored a lot of goals last year, and a few others. But if he gets minutes, Ferguson is going to be their leading goal scorer, I think, at $4. Every time he came on, he just looked like an absolute threat. He's got the pace, he's got the strength and things like that. So, Ferguson at $4. I can't remember who their favourite was to lead, but definitely him at $4. I think it's really good.
Matoma's up there.
Matoma would be up there.
Like, De Zerbi's a freak, but it's also like, what are you going to do if Caicedo leases? Or Caicedo, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, that's still ongoing.
Everyone's talking about
he's trying to
stuff like
force
that
a move.
Yeah, I think Estupiñán, he was really good last year, obviously, in defence. He won't leave, but it's just like, what do you do when you lose one of your better holding midfielders?
Yeah.
I know they're going to get the money and they'll reinvest and bring someone in, but it's like, you were 6th last year and you've got to play in Europe.
Yeah, they actually just lost their goalkeeper as well from last season, Sanchez. Chelsea picked him up, so I forgot to talk about that. They've got this guy Steele, who they actually were rating higher during the preseason and playing him over Sanchez.
Okay.
But I think that's still a big loss because Sanchez was really good goalkeeper for them last season. So I was really surprised Chelsea ended up getting him.
Estupiñán has to go big again this season.
Estupiñán has to go big. Everyone's got him in their fantasy teams, which I don't know about still because he doesn't score. But anyway, we'll see. So I think they'll drop off a little bit. Improvement of other sides. They got 61 points last year. I don't see them getting that again because, as I said, I think other teams, the bigger sides, are going to jump back up. Yep. So under 58 total points is $1.90. Just a little slide down the table. Maybe still top half, but just a little slide down at $1.90 for that one. Yeah.
All right. Any suggestions there?
I just think they've recruited really well.
Yeah.
They've brought in a lot of experience, obviously. James Milner.
They'll bring in some like $4 million. They'll bring in some $4 million kid that's a freak from Portugal or something.
Just turn him into a
That's just
kid.
them. It's what Brighton do.
From the Portuguese.
Buy cheap, sell expensive.
Yep.
That's what they do. All right, Burnley.
Ooh.
Last season, were first in the championship, came up quite easily. They're 1,500 to 1 to win the title. These poor buggers caught Man City on Friday night. First game of the season. Good luck. Pep apparently was...
Company against the old
team. Company against
more importantly, Pep was apparently fuming after City lost the Community Shield over the weekend.
Oh, really?
So,
doesn't mean that much, the Community Shield.
yeah, but it's a trophy.
It's a trendsetter that you got to put on for the rest of the season.
So anyway, well, they've lost the last 3.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
But so anyway, Company obviously in charge of Burnley, had them 10 points clear by the end of the season in the Championship. They lost 3 games all year.
It's amazing.
In the Championship. And you look back to the previous year, Fulham had 90 points. So having they had 101 points by the end of the year. So that's a ridiculous run. I think like Fulham last year, I think they're going to jump, they're going to hit the ground running, and they're going to knock off a few teams early in the year. And by Christmas, they're on like sort of 26, 27 points and like, oh yeah, we're safe.
Yeah.
And then if they drop 7 or 8 games in a row, it's like, whatever, we've done most of the work now. Because what we need to talk about is that 40 points is like the magical number that gets you safe. You get to 40 points, you don't drop down.
I think it's going to be even lower this season.
Yeah, I think it might be
trap teams.
It's going to be there some...
As long as you can get to 40, 35 is like...
Maybe,
40 is like...
Yeah, so like, if you're coming up, you're like, that's probably what they're aiming for,
I reckon they might even aim a bit higher because they brought in a kid from Switzerland called Zeki Admouni. He scored 22 goals across all comps last season in Switzerland. He looks like he's going to be their starting striker. They've also brought in James Trafford from Manchester City for 17 million.
I don't even know who that is.
He was the England under-21s keeper in the Euros. Had that amazing save late in the final to win it for England. Stack of pressure on him, but you had a look at his stats. 22 clean sheets last season in League One. I know it's League One and you're going well up in grade, but he's obviously been playing a lot of time there. City had been loaning him out. And made a bunch of money selling him here. But this looks like that youthful team they're building a core around and looking to stay up there for, the next, hopefully 10, 15 years at least. They've bought in Jordan Bayer from the Bundesliga coming across as a centre-back and Dara O'Shea from West Brom, who's also in the Championship as well. Having a look at them at $1.57 to be top newcomer, $1.67 to finish higher than Bournemouth, $2.37 to finish higher than Everton.
I like that.
Over 42.5 points at $2.50. And again, why is everyone rating West Ham? $3.50 to finish higher than West Ham.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that could be tough.
So I got a bunch of bets there, I reckon, but I love the $2.37 higher than Everton.
Yeah, Everton.
Over 42 points as well.
Everton with, not Everton, sorry, West Ham with Europe, like that price that they were at.
Yeah, I forgot about
that. Could definitely be a shout.
They got no squad depth and they're going to play Europe.
This is why I'm worried about West Ham. So and Admouni to be top scorer at $3 for them as well. That one's with Ladbrokes punters, so check that out.
Cool.
I'm looking forward to seeing how Burnley go.
Yeah, so am I. I watched a few Championship games last year and they were absolutely awesome, just scoring 3 goals a game for fun. So hopefully they can bring some of that to the Premier League.
Yeah, they weren't able to secure Nathan Teller though, which was a big miss from last season. He had 22 goal contributions.
They couldn't hold on him, that's right.
And so they weren't too happy with that. He's going to be in the Championship again with Southampton, hoping to repeat his heroics.
Southampton want 150 million for everyone. It's ridiculous. They're just like, no, we're going to hold on to everyone and they're not going to sell anyone. Like even James Ward-Prowse, he's way too good to be playing in the Championship.
I know.
100%.
Don't start me on that. All right, Chelsea.
Yes, the Blues.
Here we go, Chelsea. Well, everyone wants to talk about. Here we go.
I needed that for
Arsenal. It was uncalled for. I reckon we need to get our own soundboard over here.
Sorry, this was Chelsea's season last year.
Yeah, you know what? I can't argue with that. Hopefully it's a bit better. I'm a bit optimistic at the start of this season. Pre-season has looked really good.
Yep.
$13 to win the title. That's with Ladbrokes as well.
Yep.
But I'm going to be more conservative here. I'll go top 6, $1.53. I had top 4 prior to doing this.
That's aggressive.
But I think with news that Christopher Nkunku, he's got an injury and he's going to be out for months apparently.
Yeah,
so
guttering.
That's a big blow.
Another striker for Chelsea goes down.
Either gets injured or just forgets how to play football.
Yeah, so now we've got to rely on Mudryk and Sterling in sort of wide areas, and then number 10. It's who knows? We
don't have a midfield. You sold all of them to Saudi.
Yeah. We're just going to play. We're going to play like a 5-5.
Okay.
So I think realistically, winning the league is not going to be a target. Champions League.
Is there any chance we just you just want to get mid-table, have this squad actually stay together for a year? Yeah. And I know it sucks. It's Chelsea and you're such a big club, but it's a building season for the further season. It's like, all right, Poch, you've got 3 years to steer this ship. If you don't get us up there again in 2 years, you're gone.
That's probably a logical way to look at it. But Premier League and the
historically,
big league, they
Chelsea
don't
take that approach.
No, they don't.
No.
But yeah,
I'm coming from it as a guy who saw Arsenal rebuild over 3 years.
True.
And then explode last year.
Yeah.
So.
Honestly, I've seen with all our business, we're bringing in young talent across like South America and Europe, which is a really fresh approach from Chelsea.
Yep.
Other than Lampard, we didn't really prioritise youth.
No way.
That was awesome.
So we got Mudryk, Cassadai, Hall, Colwill, which would be an excellent addition to centre half.
Yep.
Reece James, obviously still young. Ian Matson, Nicholas Jackson, Madueke, just to name a few.
Yep.
Cool.
But I've gone with that man, Nicholas Jackson, to be Chelsea's top goal scorer.
Look good.
275. And, I mean, if you want to go for the league, go ahead. It's not going to happen, but it's
There is
$41.
without Haaland market, though.
Without
Without
Haaland
Haaland
market,
market, it could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he got 2 goals and 3 assists in pre-season.
Yep.
He's strong, tall, powerful.
He's $34 without Haaland.
There you go. He's he's very technical with his feet as well, which is very surprising. So he's very similar to when we had Tammy
He used to be
Abraham.
one of my favourite players.
Yeah, but he just looks a bit more technical than him. He was obviously at Villarreal last season, and he has a great shot to goal conversion rate of 0.29, which goes with the likes of Kane and Haaland. So put him in front of goal, get chances. He'll score. So I'm not sure if with Nkunku's injuries, he may have dropped in price for a top goal scorer.
Okay.
But that was only recent news.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Realistic thoughts on how Chelsea's season's going to be.
No, I do like the top 6. I think we can improve as
not having Europe helps.
Yeah, not having Europe does help because we got such a new squad. It's the only thing I'm worried about. Everyone's going to be walking into training in the next couple of weeks going, who are you?
Yeah.
With the name tags on. It's literally a whole new life. That's the only thing I'm worried about. I think it's going to take
Could it be like Newcastle last year where it's like it took them 8 weeks to get going?
I wouldn't be surprised if they absolutely tear it up the second half of the season, but first half sort of just finding our bearings a bit. But I think it'll be a lot better than last year.
Yeah, we have Liverpool on the opening day at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah.
That's going to be a huge indication of where
we're at to start. Yeah, you're right.
I think that's going to be huge signs for the season ahead.
All right, watch this space. Crystal Palace last season, 11th. 500 to 1, stats guy.
Yeah, 500 to 1. Do not get them on them for the title. They're the definition of mid to lower EPL teams.
They stay up though.
The last 10 seasons they've finished between 11th and 16th. They're always staying up, but not very good, but just staying up. Of course, as we talked about some podcasts a while ago, 75-year-old Roy Hodgson somehow kept them up. I thought he was too old. He didn't even know where he was, but he kept them up, which is absolutely unbelievable. They were in the relegation zone or close to when he came in.
Yeah, playing very good football
and
as
then
well.
they started playing very good football. They were scoring like 4 goals a game and things like that.
They couldn't score, and then they went, let's play FIFA. Did it?
Yeah.
Bang.
A massive loss for them, though, is why I think they'll drop down a bit, is Wilfried Zaha. He's got the second most goals for them all time. I know some people really rate him, some people don't. He was going to Man U every second year. He was going here.
He did go to Man U.
He was started at Man U. Oh, did he go to Man U?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, for a little bit, and then he came back.
Yep.
Yes, I forgot about that. Anyway, but I think that's a massive loss. They just go through him each time they attack. But this is a real big chance, as I talked about on the Code Bet Daily. Check out that podcast, for Ebereki Eze to be their number 1 man. He's their cam, but he doesn't mind pushing up to that striker sort of position. And he led their goals last season with 10. Now, 10 doesn't sound like a lot, but they just don't have as many attacking options. They've got Odson Edouard, who used to be one of my favourite players at Celtic. He's been awesome, but he's more of that guy. He doesn't have the fitness to just run all game. I wouldn't be surprised if they still sometimes use him off the bench and things like that, just because, he's more of that spark player, whereas Eze is just going to run all day. Yep. He's going to be starting every single game. He's definitely going to get more than those 10 goals. And, if he gets around that again, he's going to lead their top scorer. I don't see many other Palace players leading that. So Eze at $2.25, I thought it was a pretty good bet for them to be their top scorer. They didn't recruit too well in the off-season. Chelsea were below them but in 12th, which I still can't believe I'm saying. So they're obviously going to bounce, I think, hopefully above Crystal Palace in that sort of bottom half of the table. And I think they'll at least drop down, So they got 45 points, I think, was last year. $1.80 to get under 45 points.
Yep.
I don't see them having another season like that, especially with the way they started. So lack of star power and depth. So under that 45 total points for them.
That was their points last year, 45. So
so I think that some of the odds are just going, I don't know, we'll just give it the same.
Yeah. So these odds with Bet365, you have an under, then there's a 2-point thing, and then there's an over as well. So a few of them that we're going to be talking about, but
they haven't recruited that well, and they're not going to be able to score too much in attack. So here we go.
That's enough.
Crystal Palace under 45.
Yeah.
Done.
Everton last season survived by the skin of their teeth. They were 17th. They're 500 to 1. That is absolutely missing a zero. Marcus, this is you.
Yeah, I think it definitely is. They're going to struggle this season. We'll get to relegation clubs later on. I think they could be one of those teams that could get relegated. I think it's third year running that they're just going to go.
Well, they always somehow just stay up, but it's got to stop eventually.
Yeah, it's got to stop eventually.
To score 15 goals.
No way.
And I'm just not really impressed with their transfer window.
Do they have anything coming in?
Not really. No, they've lost a lot of like experience in defence, like Connor Cody, Yerry Mina.
Yes. Yeah.
They're gone, which doesn't help in a relegation threatened team. You need players like that in your squad.
Yep.
And they're just a terribly run football club.
Cool.
So I think they will struggle. $4 to be relegated is their price, which I think is excellent value because I think they'll be one of those bottom 5 teams in the league.
Yep.
Top goal scorer. If you're going to... Alex is laughing at this one because I've put DCL, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, $2.75. When he plays, he scores, but he's never fit. No. So considering that, I've chucked in Dan Juma for $4. Okay. Or I think Dwight McNeil could be that man, $4.50. Yeah, they definitely won't have a goal scorer other than Dominic Calvert-Lewin to get 10 plus, double figures. So I think McNeil could be a shout.
Their best hope is to at least get a point out of every game at home this season.
Yeah, well, that's how they sort of stayed up last year at home. They got a lot of like last minute draws or just holding on to nil or things like that. Yeah. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think Everton are going to struggle as well. Fulham, Tony Khan's boys last season, and they're 1,000 to 1 to win the title, and this is Marcus once again.
Yeah, we're going to have to introduce that Tony Khan rule again, I think.
Hey, he sold out Wembley Stadium with AEW. 80,000 tickets sold at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
No. I'm not going to England, you dork. It's 3 weeks.
I'd love to go to England.
COVID, please send me over.
Yeah, we're going to go.
Wembley!
Well, I think they're going to struggle compared to last season. I don't think they're going to hit the heights of last season.
Yeah, agree.
So I've gone under 43 points is $1.80. Obviously, there's not a lot of value with mid-table clubs.
Yeah.
No, it's hard.
It is a bit difficult. So yeah, I think they'll go considerably less. They got 52 points last season, which was overachieving, and I think they could find themselves in a scrap. I think they could be around 16th, that 16th mark in the end. But I think they could be very lucky that some of the teams are so trash this season. We'll get on to my Brentford call later.
Yeah.
But they haven't really strengthened the squad in any positions. Mitrovic is sort of looking for a way out of the club.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
And I think if he doesn't get his move to, I think, Saudi Arabia, to the Saudi League, he will force it in January. So I'll steer away from him for top goal scorer. But obviously they brought in Raul Jimenez from Wolves. Unfortunately, since he had that head injury, he hasn't been the striker he was. He hasn't been able to score goals, but I'll go him for top goal scorer because assuming Mitrovic leaves, he'll be the main man. And obviously got players like Willian who are getting a bit old. When's that decline going to start coming?
It started when he went to Arsenal and then he got good again.
And then he randomly got good again. Yeah,
he was a double agent.
Christ.
So, but
mid-table mediocrity.
Yeah, mid-table mediocrity. Palhinha's fitness is going to be key for them.
Cool. All right, let's move on from them. Liverpool charged up the table late in the year. They were 5th last season. They are $9 to win the title, or $1.53 to be in the top 4, and they've got Europa League duties this season as well.
So I'm on this one. They've had an amazing run with Jurgen Klopp in charge. A lot of people were like, "Oh, should he be out after last season?" It's the first time they've finished out of the top 4 since 2016, and they finished 5th. So that's a bloody good effort for a club to be consistent for that long. But they definitely underperformed last year. I think they were adjusting without Sadio Mane. I think people didn't understand how vital he was to their success. I think he was a massive out. Had to rely on Salah to literally do everything in attack when Darwin Núñez just forgot how to play football as well. Everyone was like, remember when at the start of the season people were comparing him and Haaland?
I think he'll have a really good year.
I think he's going to have a really good year. Yeah. So in saying that, I think he's going to feel a bit more comfortable now in that side. He's played a fair amount. He still had 12 goal contributions, which isn't horrible, but I think he's going to surpass that. I was looking at him to be possibly top goal scorer for them at $5, but Mo Salah, they get a lot of penalties. Liverpool, Mo Salah's going to take all their penalties. So Mo Salah's like $1.40 or something. So maybe steer clear of that. So, but if you think Darwin Núñez can, improve a lot from last year, maybe get on that $5, but I don't mind Mo Salah there. I think Man U recruited quite well, but Liverpool looks strong. It'd be interesting to see how Trent Alexander-Arnold goes. He looked really poor in defence last season. He loves to give those assists and things like that, but he did look poor in defence, and England played him in the midfield and things like that. I don't know if Liverpool would be inclined to do that, but it'll be really interesting. And he had the 4th most assists in the league. I think if Liverpool improve, he's going to even up those assists. Just a sneaky one. De Bruyne is the best passer in the league, but if you think you can get a bit of value in Trent Alexander-Arnold to get the league's most assists at $9, he takes all their corners. If they're going to improve, I think he's going to get more assists. They also recruited Szoboszlai from Red Bull Leipzig. Oh, RB Leipzig, they're not allowed to call themselves Red Bull Leipzig.
That's right. Get it right, Stats guy.
I think he can be great at setting up the play from midfield. Alex just wrote down McAllister. I forgot to mention him as
how
well.
could you forget
I don't know
the
why.
ginger Argentinian?
I forgot about him. We loved him last season. Yeah, James is
I suppose
brother.
that's because that deal got done on like the first day of the
Yes,
transfer. And
that's
we were like,
probably why.
that was like
That
6
felt
weeks
like
ago.
so long ago.
I mean,
forgot about him.
that's their only 2 signings so far of the window. So.
I think they're really good signings. Though. Szoboszlai was one of the
Defensively,
best
they're
players.
strong anyway. As long as they all stay on
I
the
just
pitch,
saw,
it's fine.
Alexander-Arnold is playing at fullback in pre-season.
Yes,
so
well,
I
So
should-
he should, because how's he going to fit in with Szoboszlai and McAllister?
Yeah,
in that
I agree with
midfield?
that, but
and
he
with
looked-
Gakpo.
Yeah, we did talk about how like last season their midfield, like we always questioned it was a bit weak, and they've
Bang.
got rid of but they've got rid of
Oh,
like
they cut
Milner
the
who can
fat.
play there, Keita,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Jordan
a few older
Henderson,
guys.
Fabinho, Fabio Carvalho
older guys.
on loan.
Yeah.
So I think they probably just lacking a bit more of that depth in midfield.
Yeah, I just really like Szoboszlai and McAllister. I think they're going to just slot
Yeah,
in
yeah.
perfectly.
And
They're
then
sort
you
of
add
those
in-
guys that they
but
showed.
Yeah,
in the World Cup.
Nunez and Gapco
Yeah,
have also.
Gapco I was about to talk about,
They've
yeah.
also had at least a season or half a season to
Yeah.
get used to Liverpool. They're used to what Klopp wants. Now they're all used to all the systems and setups that need to be done
Yep.
as far as the demands of an EPL season with Liverpool go. So they're the one for me that are just going to go.
Yeah, that's
Straight,
why I've got
Yep.
them in third. On
Yep.
we're going to talk about our top 4 later. I've got them in third just because I think that recruiting, as I didn't mention, but McAllister's in there. You got Szoboszlai, and I think Alexander-Arnold. They've just got
Also,
such
just remember
depth.
how good Allison was last year.
Alisson, he's
He was
amazing, yeah.
awesome. If
Yeah.
they didn't have him, they would have
Yep.
been like 8th. They
Yep.
would have had that many
That
goals
poor-
scored against them.
That poor defending, he was just
Yeah.
saving them a lot of games. So Liverpool top 4, it's only $1.53, but I think that's an absolute lock for me. And then, I think they could finish even third. But
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to challenge for the title just because
I reckon they'll
that
win
can
the
slot-
Europa League.
I think they could
You reckon they
challenge.
could challenge
Oh,
for the
they
title?
could challenge if
Okay,
they
yeah.
get on a run
Yeah.
like they did the end of last season.
Yeah.
Again, it's just down to depth. I think. with
And you still
Liverpool.
got Salah, who had 22
Yeah.
goals and 12 assists last season, which was nuts.
I think top 4 and they'll win the Europa League. So I'll find the Europa
League, I
price.
didn't look at that, actually,
After
yeah.
I have a look at the next team, I'll have a look at those prices. Anyway, I'm
Easy.
next. Luton Town. Last season, they snuck up into the from
Literally
the championship.
snuck up.
Yeah, they were 6th.
Yeah.
and they were the final team to get through because they got through via the playoffs. They're 3,001 to win the title. That is also missing a 0. They're $1.33 to be relegated. They're $2.37 to finish last. So let's look for some positives. They went 11-9-4 at home last year with 33 goals scored. Negatives. I think they're cooked. They've spent $19 million on 11 players with a top spend of 5.85 on Ryan
It's
Giles
not
from Wolves.
Premier League numbers,
Who, when you look at Ryan Giles' career for Wolves, he has been loaned out non-stop for Wolves. I think he has one FA Cup start to his name for Wolves.
Wow, in 8 years have you got rid of
Yeah,
that?
he's young.
Yeah.
They spent $3.5 million on a centre-back from League One. I mean, I'm available too if you want to throw money away, Luke.
Okay.
I think they're building a really good championship squad.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
They're
but they're in the
not
Premier League.
building a Premier League squad.
Their
so-
stadium's going to be sick to watch
Yeah,
during the middle
you have to
of
walk
winter.
through someone's backyard.
Maybe not for the away end people. I reckon
During
it'll
the
be
middle
sick
of
to
winter,
watch,
it's going to
but-
be awesome when it's freezing cold and where it's like 7 o'clock in the morning here. It's great. Under 32.5 points under 32 points is the play for me.
Four.
As they're $1.33 to be relegated. Last season, you had Leeds on 31 and Southampton 25. This is what we're looking at. I think they're absolute certainties to be relegated. I'm happy to take the $2.37 for them to finish last. I want them to go well. I think they're going to struggle. Them sneaking up through the playoffs was lucky, but also at the same time, they're probably not ready for it. They're in trouble. Oh, we don't have the bit here. I've only got this one.
Oh, no. I don't like this one.
Stats guy.
Stats
It's
guy.
the Stats guy.
Stat of
And
the
here he
day.
is, the stats guy.
Stats guy. Stats guy.
Yeah, what's the empire?
You know what? Give me a start of the day.
Out of there, I got a couple. One that you're really not going to like, but that's why I wanted to put it in here. Arsenal led the league, of course, for 248 days last season, which is the most days in history without winning the league.
So we're history makers.
yeah, you are history makers. And as you did mention, it wasn't helped with the
So
World Cup.
they
but I
settled
just-
for this mediocrity.
Yeah, yeah. I just love that
I'm
one.
sorry, where did you guys finish?
Anyway, and then another one, we loved Aston Villa on this podcast. Aston Villa were the first team ever to score a goal in their first 20 games with a new manager.
That's the manager one.
Yeah, so Unai Emery, we loved him when he came in. They were just playing liquid football. It was awesome. So, yeah, like that one as well.
Don't mind it, I
we
might.
go.
All right, let's move on next to the champions elect from last season. They are going for 4 in a row, and we believe, I think think it'd be the first team in history to win
First
4 in a row.
Yeah,
in the
that's
EPL since it
in the
became the EPL.
Yes.
Thank you to Rupert Murdoch and everyone at the Sun that did that. Manchester City are $1.72 to win the title. Whoop-de-friggin' do.
Yeah, look,
Go
I'm
Stats
going to
guy.
find some bets that aren't title because $1.72 that's just not fun at all. They're an absolute modern powerhouse. They've won the league 5 of the last 6 years.
What happens when you cheat financial
As a
fair play?
Chelsea and Arsenal fans here, we are absolutely frustrated that they just keep bringing in some of the best players in the world. I think last couple of years they could have started their second lineup and still won the league at times. They've been absolutely awesome, but they've got rid of some players.
I think they're a good discussion point this year.
Yes. As we were talking about, I think the other day, Alex, they've got no Mahrez, Gundogan and Cancelo, which were just big parts of their depth over the last 3 years at least, or 4 years even.
Yeah, I think they're definitely weakened.
And they're definitely weak. I think their depth, they're going to have to play Calvin Phillips, who didn't play all of last season in that centre defensive midfield position. But you can't discount when you've got the best duo in the world in Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne. Obviously, Haaland led the goals, De Bruyne led the assists. They're two of the best players in the world. Still going to be playing together. So as long as they've got those two on the field, I still think they're going to absolutely tear it up this season. I think Arsenal's lack of experience at the top did cost them last season, but I think they can bounce back. And as Alex mentioned, they are a title chance. So Man City and Arsenal in either order, top two, is $3.20, which I thought was really good value. So even if doesn't matter which order they finish in, I think these two are the two clear best teams as they showed last season. So $3.20 I thought was really good value with there. De Bruyne, as I just mentioned, he's the 4th all-time in Premier League assists with 102. He led the league with 16 last year and had the most ever in a season a couple of seasons ago, equal Thierry Henry with 20. So De Bruyne, most league assists. I did mention Alexander-Arnold as your value bet, but De Bruyne, he just loves, that's all he does. He just stands in midfield, looks, where's Haaland, where's my boy? Get it up to him. So $3.75, I thought it's really good value, especially when you got Haaland.
If I was Kane Corns, I'd say passing it to Haaland doesn't count as an assist.
Kane Corns would say something. We need to find an EPL Kane Corns. There'll be someone out there. I'm trying to think.
There's definitely some fickle
someone on
fans
TikTok,
in the Premier League.
Someone commenting on Kodak.
Gary Neville.
It's him.
Gary Neville.
Haaland had an insane 36 goals last season, which is the record in the modern Premier League. He's got amazing finishing ability and speed. He's going to be the top scorer. There's no value for him to be the top scorer at like $1.60.
You can't guarantee that. Someone could hack the bone.
Unless I think Alex
up at the knee.
Unless Alex goes over to the UK and goes to
Sandro Martin.
No, it's that Mr. Burns thinks Smithers. I don't think I'll be able to bowl. Wow. Thank you, random assailant.
But a bit of value there. If you still think Man City are going to win the title like the odds suggests, then you compare it with Haaland, top goal scorer. It's not great odds, but it's $2.25. I think if they do go on to win the title, Haaland is going to be the top goal scorer. So that's pretty good value there. But my favourite bet of all, probably the whole this whole show is the Man City and Arsenal, either or the top two. Yeah, so I'm going for.
I think it's funny to say, even though I think they're going to finish second. I think they dip because
they dipped all at a second.
But this is this team that's been so indestructible for so long. They won the Champions League, they won the FA Cup, they did the treble. Only Man United did it. What was it, 24 years ago or something? Where's the hunger for some of these players? Obviously, Cyborg aside, Haaland, who just lives and breathes football. Do you do those extra reps at training? Do you do those extra...
I'm sure they are.
I think that's why Pep went mental. For the Community Shield loss.
Yeah,
it's just because he's going to lose that hunger. You got to bring it back.
If they're even 5% off, they'll get beaten by an Arsenal or Liverpool this season, for the title, because little slip-ups will cost them the title. It won't be noticeable at the time. They drew against, I don't know, Brentford or something.
I think it could be like a 3-horse race this season. So I think the winning,
and in the end,
hopefully.
They got 89 points last year. I wouldn't be shocked if they end up with like 82, 83. And it's just like,
I agree.
What happened? They dipped a bit and Arsenal and Liverpool
might be a bit
just
closer, no matter what.
Well, it's still close, but I think given the fact they have sold the bulk of their midfield or that they've left. Like Gundogan was one of the greatest players in the league last in the season.
Jam a few times.
And Mahrez as well, very dangerous at all times.
I'm a big fan of Mateo Kovacic, and I think he'll do well under Pep's system. I was always going to bring my Chelsea shirt from last season, had Kovacic in the back, and he left, so I thought maybe not.
Just depends
but Cancelo still hasn't left. He will, but he hasn't left.
While Pep's there, he's
probably going to go to Barcelona.
Barca pretty much.
But it's just, I think I think there's something in them dipping. And this is, if you don't like them, go have a look where you can bet against teams. You know what I'm talking about if you're listening to this.
Ladbrokes has a lot of those betting against,
No, there's a certain website who we can't name at the moment on CodeBet. But if you check out punters.com.au this week, you can. Anyway, I think they dip. Anyway, let's move on to Manchester United last season. Ten Hag ball. Jumped up into third. Playing in the Champions League this year, they also won the Carabao Cup. Whoop-de-friggin-do. And before anyone gets on my back about, Arsenal keep spending money. You dorks have spent more money in the last 2 seasons than Arsenal have spent in 4. So shut up. Wow. All right, go.
Well, I think it was like previous 5 seasons, all of Europe, Arsenal have spent the most money. I think so. I think I read that somewhere.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
think now with Onana and what's he coming in, that United have just gone.
It definitely could bump up the prices a bit
I'm
more.
going to look this up now.
I've gone for Manchester United for a top 4 finish for $1.72. Or even if they win the Carabao Cup again, no one cares about it, but it's still a major trophy.
Still a cup,
it's still a trophy, and $3 to win a major trophy, I think, is not bad for Manchester United because I think they've had a brilliant transfer window.
Yep.
They got rid of De Gea. Phil Jones has been at the club since it feels like forever.
Since Jesus was a boy.
And Maguire most likely leaving as well, and he's not going to be in the first team frame. I think they've had very good business, and I think Johnny Evans, particularly for free as a backup, the centre half, is a very underrated signing. But it was nice to see Mason Mount miss a tap in.
Yeah, I can't believe he's playing for Chelsea.
That's right, another bloke Chelsea sold.
Makes me sad.
Yeah, I was a bit upset about that one.
So as of right now, United in the last 2 seasons have spent over $400 million. In the last 2 seasons.
Jeez.
Chelsea last season spent $546. Just for
$546?
Million. All right, keep going, sorry.
And it was good to see their new keeper Nana get chipped from 40, 50 yards.
Yeah.
But they did win that game 3-1 against Lens at Old Trafford. But yeah, I do think they will be good signings. I think they've definitely strengthened from that squad last season. So I don't see why they can go one step further, win another major trophy for back-to-back seasons. But someone that I'm really excited about is the signing of, I think it's Højlund, is how you pronounce it. Højlund. I've gone for him as their top goal scorer. I know Marcus Rashford at $2.10. It was a tough decision between him and Rashford, but I think considering he'll play more in that central area, I've gone with him. He scored 9 goals in Serie A last season, and he kicked 6 goals in 4 games for Denmark, which is a brilliant record.
The going to yell at you again for saying kicked 6 goals like an Australian.
Here we go.
Oh, what's wrong with that?
6 goals.
Kick's fine.
Yeah.
He snagged 6 goals.
He snagged 6 goals. He got 6 sausage rolls.
For Denmark. That's a sausage roll.
But I think it's a very exciting and progressive signing. And I think they've gone up for more, because they typically go for experience up front. You think they've had Weghorst, Ronaldo, Ibra, Falcao, Michael Owen when he came in the twilight of his career, and Cavani. I think they're definitely going against the United mould.
Yeah, and this is also why he's signing for whatever it was, like 50, 60 million, is also why I'm all about Arsenal going, Inter, you're offering 30 for Balogun? No. Like with all the money that's been spent on strikers, and you got a guy that scored over 20 goals last season in the French league, absolutely not 30 million. Like 50 million's right. Like you've got a guy that scores goals, that's just immediately 50 million. You're young, 55 million. Keep going up. But
True.
I don't mind United. It'll be interesting to see how they go. Again, Champions League as well. They did play Europa League last year as well. But did they play Europa or Champions League? I can't remember. It was one of the two. They ended up in the
Europa Champions League.
So it'll be interesting to see how they go. There feels like there's a lot of expectations from their fans once again.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I love more than seeing Man United just go terrible. Even more than Chelsea and Tottenham. Man United slipping.
They're like the Collingwood of the Premier League.
Yeah, that's fair.
Everyone hates Man U.
Yep. All right. Anything else for Man U?
No, that's pretty much it from my front. But I think they can, if they get a good run, I think they're one of those teams that could, you know.
They've got that ridiculous record of like when they've been in front at halftime, they've like never lost. They haven't lost in like 150 something games.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So they'll be good at home. Yeah.
All right, Newcastle last season they finished 4th, 19, 14 and 5. They're $15 to win the title, $2.50 for the top 4, top 6 $1.53. Interesting to see how they go this season. They are like what Chelsea are this season. Need to cope. They've got to cope with European football.
Yes, that'll be interesting.
Chelsea don't have the European football and can charge up the table is what I mean.
Yep.
Very interesting to see that Donnelly coming across from AC Milan. He has not smiled yet. I don't.
No, he doesn't want to be there.
I don't think he smiles though. I've seen photos of him with his wife who's just like,
You see him like inspecting the training ground and the gym. That was
You two would get along, I reckon. Then.
That's right. Everything's fun. Yeah, that's great. But also, Harvey Barnes coming across from Leicester is a very good signing as well.
Agreed.
Alan St. Maximin leaves to Saudi, and Chris Wood's move to Notts became permanent. But St. Maximum's not a big loss because obviously bringing in Barnes and Donnelly, and obviously they added in Ishak late last year as well.
Awesome, yeah.
It's like St. Maximin doesn't fit in.
Has he left yet?
Yeah, he's gone. It's kicked off. He's over in Saudi. So they got like 25 million for him as well. So that helps with their financial fair play as well. But they probably need to still sign another player or two. Like Kieran Tierney was meant to be there by now, and he hasn't left Arsenal, so it looks like he'll stay. As for some bets, I think they slide a little bit. I think top 6 is still achievable, but I don't think top 4. The demands of Europe for this squad is going to be what's sort of kills them for me. As they're only focused on like the EPL and the League Cup last year, they haven't won a trophy in forever. I think since
they almost did
since the 50s. But also we've got to mention their start last season. They had won 1 game in the first 7.
Yeah.
They won 18 from the next 31, but that also included in their last 5 games 1 win, 3 draws, and 1 loss.
Wow.
So they really slowed up late in the year. So it's like, oh, well, they won 17 from their next 26 before that. So that's like a ridiculously record.
Yep.
They confuse me. I'm very confused about Newcastle, if you can't tell. Like, they're good. I like watching them play. The time wasting that they're known for isn't going to help them this year because they've bought in the FIFA World Cup timing. So we could have 15 minutes of extra time. Which is fantastic.
That's good.
Going about even later now.
Yeah, shout out to Raphael Varane and everyone else for complaining. How about you stop wasting time, you jerks? Simple. Top scorer, pretty simple. Ishak, $1.73.
He was awesome, yeah.
Came in late last year and just started banging in goals for fun. 20 plus at 375.
It's hard, but if they're going to be up there, then you could do that, yeah.
What do we reckon? I'm
I don't mind Newcastle
by
top 4. I know you guys. I just really like their squad. They were one of the best defensive. I think they were the best defensive team last year. You got Pope, who's still in goals. You got their defense is just all really strong.
Awesome.
He's awesome. And Ishak, he didn't even start the first half of the season.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Second half of the season, he was on fire. You got Miggy, who everyone was bagging for a solid 5 years. He turned into a star last year.
And then dropped off. But
I really like this team.
Callum Wilson.
Yeah, I do like top 4, that $2.50. I am a bit worried, as you said, they're not used to playing in Europe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't mind them top 4 still because I think they got a really good squad.
Yeah. I think the heavyweights of the competition are obviously going to get better.
Yeah.
So I think last season they drastically overperformed.
They survived relegation and just went sup Champions League.
They just drastically overperformed where a lot of clubs underperformed.
Yeah.
So if that balances out, it could be tough.
True.
I like it. Yeah. All right. Our beloved Nottingham Forest come up next. As soon as Arsenal could win the title, I wanted Notts to beat Arsenal, and they did. God bless them to survive. Finished 16th, just above relegation. They are 1,000 to 1, and again, that is missing a 0.
Probably,
This is, I think, Marcus.
No, it's me.
Stats guy.
I'll jump in on this one. Yeah, they did finish 16th, was just above the relegation zone, which we were literally cheering on every podcast. We're like, come on, Notts. Something about Notts. I don't know. Their fans.
It's because they played FIFA. They bought a bunch of players, and they're like, you know what, coach, good luck. We're not going to sack you. Figure it out.
It's all right for Nottingham Forest, but not for Chelsea, who we got out for
They only spent like 15 million.
Well, that's one reason I think you guys did mention Notts maybe dropping off a little bit. I think they can go up a tiny bit.
I reckon they'll stay up.
Because they had a whole season to gel. They had literally had 25 new players, I'm pretty sure, last season, which
is ridiculous.
Never good for a team coming into the Premier League when a Premier League season when you're just all trying to gel. You hardly know each other.
Couple of blokes sitting on the floor because there's no lockers for them.
Yeah, they've got a very similar team this year, which I think will help. They've all gelled together for a season.
Gibbs White.
So Gibbs White is an absolute gun. But another one, Taiwo Awoniyi, who led their goals last year, I think with 10. I think he's going to take it to the next level here. He's scored a lot of his goals at home. He loved the home crowd. He's got that pace and power and attack. So $2.50 for him to be the Notts top scorer. I think that's a really good bet. You've got Brennan Johnson, who was not far behind him last season, but he does like Morgan Gibbs White, likes to pass it off and use those assists. I think he got about 6 assists last year. Gibbs White got a fair few assists as well. They've got a lot of guys that are really good passers, whereas Awoniyi, every time he goes into attack, just wants to shoot. So I think him top scorer, $2.50 is a pretty good bet. I really like Notts to finish higher than Wolves, $2.10. Wolves, they had the least goals in the league last season. Ruben Neves led their goals. He's gone now. Did he go to Saudi as well? Yeah, classic. Every second player's gone there at the moment. So $2.10 for Notts to finish higher than Wolves. I think, Wolves are going to be in that relegation zone. So if you think Notts are going to be above that relegation zone, get on them. Yeah.
They're going to get Matt Turner from Arsenal. He'll sign on the dotted line the next 3 days and watch him turn into prime Neuer this week.
I don't know about that.
Arsenal and Notts play each other. I know what you guys do, but I just hope they stay up. I love myself some Notts.
Yep.
All right. Sheffield United finished second in the championship last season. They are 2,500 to 1 with Bet365. They're $1.67 to be relegated with Ladbrokes. This one is a Marcus one.
Yeah, that's going to be my best bet, and I think my best bet for the season because I think we'll get down to relegated teams, but I think they could, finish below Luton, finish rock bottom.
Yeah, okay.
Because their club is in just an abysmal state at the moment.
Yeah.
They got dire financial status, and I think they can consider themselves lucky that they did get promoted last season.
Yep.
Otherwise, could have had a repeat of some bigger Premier League clubs going down.
Going into administration like Derby.
True. Yep. They had a transfer embargo in January, but obviously that's been lifted. But even still, they haven't really signed anyone. They've only made 3 signings that required a fee since 2020.
2020, really?
And 2 of those came in this window. So
$5 to finish last.
Yeah, so I think that, in a sense, it could mean good business that they got promoted from the championship without spending that money.
Yeah, true.
But that's not going to cut it in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And I think, even next season, if they do get relegated, it could be even worse for them.
Man, Fred would run rings around him, and that's saying something.
Those 3 transfers have totaled up to about 10 mil.
Really?
And they've only had a 20 mil budget, they said they got given to him.
Wow.
And he's only spent 6 so far. So
20 mil is nothing. You might as well spend it all. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's not fun for Sheffield.
It's picking
United
players
fans.
that are right for your system though as well. So it's not just spending money for the sake of it, like what your club literally did last year.
True.
Yeah, that's true. But I do think that they need to bring in some probably Premier League experience. Just to, solidify
screwed.
that experience. They're pretty much screwed.
Nice.
Either way, but I think fans, we got to call them Sheffield United. We can't call them Sheffield. I think because Sheffield Wednesday fans will get pretty.
We got the Blades. They're the
pissed.
Blades as well.
Come at us, internet. We're in Australia. Big deal. You're Sheffield.
So, if you want to fly over, bring it on. I don't think they'll make it past the heat. True. But I'll go Ollie McBurney, $2.50 for their top goal scorer. Or if you want a really, really out there one, I'll go on Sanderberger for $17. He originally started as a DM, but it's got pushed further and further up the pitch.
Yep.
And now he's playing in sort of wide-ish positions. So I think and McBurney doesn't have the best of track records for goals in the Premier League.
Cool.
All right, I've got nothing to add. You've just said they stink. So
I might have just changed my relegated relegation choices because that's convinced me. Anyway.
All right, let's move on. Tottenham Hotspur last season finished 8th. They're $41 to win the title. They have bought in Ange Postecoglou. Get around there.
Postecoglou.
I go for Arsenal, so I honestly hope they get relegated.
I should hope that they get relegated.
$41 to win the title. Stats guy, this is you. Harry Kane, does he stay? Does he go? It is the most toxic relationship ever.
We can start with that. It is a toxic relationship.
Is it worse than Rihanna and Chris Brown's relationship? Probably.
Poor Ant.
Don't clip that one, Leo.
That will go off on TikTok.
Clips, mate.
Anyway, Ange Ball is here. I'm so excited. He's the first ever Aussie EPL manager, which is an absolutely amazing effort.
Incredible
He's been
achievement.
Successful everywhere he's been. I'm a big supporter of Celtic, and he tore it up there. Everyone goes, it's an easy league. They didn't even finish. They didn't get a trophy before he was there. After he's finished, they had 5. So he had a great stint with Celtic. He won the J League title, an Asian Cup with the Socceroos when the Socceroos are nowhere near the Asian Cup finals at this stage. So he's just everywhere he goes.
Get to the team stats.
Everywhere he goes. I just love talking about Ange. Sorry. Anyway, Spurs have been the laughing stock of the league, known in the Big Six, but haven't won a major trophy in 15 years. We all love talking about that with Tottenham. Worst result since 2009 was last season, finishing 8th, so they're always up there.
They were a joke last year.
They were really bad for a team with lots of good quality. And we'll use the pace in attack.
Pace
I don't know
in
what I
attack?
said. Yeah.
Jeez.
That's a different one. That's a different podcast. We'll use the pace and attack that they have through Sonny, Kulusevski, who I just saw an interview about him. Ange is absolutely loving. And Richarlison's the big if for Tottenham this season. He has about 5 shots a game and couldn't score last season, but if he can score...
he is like my most hated player in the league.
If he can finish...
Cody Waitman levels.
Yeah, if he can finish as he did in the World Cup, we talked about in the World Cup, he was just finishing everything, scissor kicks and all, then I think that's going to help Tottenham move up the table here. Harry Kane looks to be leaving, still hasn't happened, we're not sure.
If he's there on Friday, he'll be there.
I think he stays.
Like the deal has to be in place by Thursday.
Yeah.
I think that he went to the pre-season tour here is a good sign.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's because Daniel Levy went on holiday apparently, and then they've offered $100 million. He's still like, yeah, no. What happens when he walks in 12 months to United, you dork?
Yeah.
God. Also, their owner needs the money because he's about to be put in jail for 50 years for insider trading. Anyway, give us a bet.
Yeah, give us a bet. I did mention Brighton. I think they're going to slide down a little bit. And Spurs, I just think their history suggests that they're going to move back up the table. I think Ange can turn them around. He's such a good manager. So Spurs to finish higher than Brighton is $1.70. Now, top six, I think we've mentioned a lot of clubs in that top six. But if they play their best football, I think, they can get into that top six. $2 is a pretty good bet if you think they can finish there.
I don't know, man.
It might be their max is sixth because we got a lot of good teams this year. So it'll probably be sixth or seventh. I'm going for them to finish. So
they are literally the epitome of St Kilda and the Western Bulldogs rolled into one. They've got their Bontempelli and Harry Kane.
Yeah. And
everyone else stinks.
I think they could be competing with like Aston Villa in terms of the table at the end of the year.
Yeah. The only thing I'm worried about is Ange Ball, as I mentioned before, is just pace. So even if Harry Kane goes,
so they're going to get caught out on the counter by really good teams.
Yeah, and they have in their friendly they do get caught out over the back quite a lot.
Andrew's known for that though with Celtic, where they win a lot of games like 4-2, 4-3.
But that's also because Celtic was that much better than the other team.
Yes, that's true.
Yep. You're now coming to Tottenham,
able to play that,
who's probably the sixth best team in the league.
Yeah, it's not a bet that you can do right now, but the over 2.5 goals get on them for pretty much every Tottenham game because of the way they play.
And I was about to say, they're a team that don't score a lot as well.
Yeah, anyway.
Okay.
I think they're going to go all right, but not be contenders,
All right, we move on to West Ham. Last season, they finished 14th. They are 250 to 1 to win the title. They've lost their two best players.
Yep.
Declan Rice is at Arsenal.
Oscar Michael, I don't know if that's his best player, but he was a good player.
Tell you what.
He's a good player.
He signed with Atalanta like overnight. He was like, I hate this place. I want to leave.
He's Italian.
He was going to Roma. He was going to Inter. Like, he was out of there no matter what. They barely survived last year. Most importantly, they've got, up until this morning, they had 120 million. They've got 150 million and they haven't signed anyone. What are you doing? Honestly.
The money. You just wave some money into someone's face.
Well, they're doing that by trying to bring in Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay. Nice.
Yeah. It's better than the players they have, to be fair.
The worry for them is they got to play in the Europa League after winning the Conference League.
Yeah.
Their depth is just nothing. They are in so much trouble.
They're going to struggle.
Now that Rice and Scamato have left. Like, it's just like, our defense sucks. Declan, just stand there and get in the way of everyone, please. I really worry for West Ham this year. I think $1.66 to finish in the bottom half is a lock. Under 49 points at $1.90 is there as well because they only scored 40 points last year. So even if they improve 2 games,
they're still
I'm
under.
still winning. It's.
They got Jared Bowen, who's a star.
He's really good.
And then they got Ben Rama, who's one of my favorite
Ben Rama's my
players
bet
as well.
for top scorer, probably. He's very exciting, but it's just like, man, if they don't fire, they're in trouble. So I haven't got much to add about West Ham. Maybe buy some players and we can revisit this in 2 weeks because we've got another 3 weeks of the transfer.
Would he be the first manager sacked, David Moyes?
Oh,
well, we do have a thing down here.
That's not a bad
Is that
shout,
your
though.
call? First manager sacked David Moyes.
I think it might be.
Okay, well, he was nearly gone last year.
Yeah, they're calling for him. Yeah, in the away bay they had banners and everything, and then they won the Europa Conference League. And
Man United have been trying to get rid of the Glazers for like 15 years. So
it was
it's what fan banners do.
Yes.
All right, let's move on to Wolves. Final team last season finished 13th. They are 750 to 1 to win the title.
Yeah, they got the least goals in the league last season. That just sums them up. They did finish 13th somehow. They got a lot of really low scoring draws.
Christmas.
You got Ruben Neves is gone, who was their leading goal scorer. I know Connor Cody went to Everton, but he was a vital part of them being pretty strong for a few years. So was Raul Jimenez. Jimenez was their leading goal scorer for a long time.
They haven't got money to spend.
They don't have money to spend, and they got a lot of good players leaving over the last couple of years, which I'm really worried about.
Their fair play's caught up with them from spending a crap ton of money to win the championship.
Yes, and they were really strong actually. Even 3 or 4 years ago, they finished 7th 2 years in a row, and then since then they've been absolutely horrible. It didn't help when they were trying to start Jimenez every game, and he hasn't looked like himself. But they haven't really replaced him with a really strong striker.
They can't spend any money.
They can't spend any money. So I just think they're going to get relegated. Wolves to get relegated at $3.50, I think, is one of my best bets of the year.
Yeah, I like that.
Don't trust them. Also, if they're going to get relegated, I don't mind their coach to get sacked first. I think Alex was going to mention that later as well.
I think there's a bit of unrest behind the scenes with him because he's getting a bit frustrated at the moment that he
can't spend money. It would be frustrating to be in the Premier League, you're not allowed to spend money. A bit of a weird one. Wolves top scorer, I'd probably stay away from this, but Daniel Podence, he did lead their goals last year with 6. That shows how bad their season was. they don't have Ruben Neves, who was equal with him leading the goals with that 6. So you take him out, looked at their team. He's the only one that's sort of going to take those long shots from midfield, maybe even on the wings and things like that. So yeah,
They
$6.
scored 31 goals last year.
They've got there are a few new signings, I think, are the favourites, but $6 for opponents. He has sort of the license in that team to shoot. So I thought that was really good value for the Wolves top scorer. But I'd probably stay away from that because they really just look lost in attack. So but to be relegated, I think is one of my best bets.
Yeah. I've just had a look here, and they've had 24 players go out of the club, either released, loaned out, or transferred out, and they've brought in one player, Tom King, free agent.
Oh, I've never heard of him.
So
he's right to Wayne.
Yeah, that just proves their state at the moment.
So they're going to struggle, I think. Yeah, that's why I was surprised that in the actual odds, people are saying they're not going to get relegated, but get on them, to get relegated.
All right.
Anyway.
That is all 20 teams that we have run through.
Woo! Stuff.
All right.
Smash that.
Give us a top 4 and your 3 relegated teams. Stats guy, go first.
I'm going first. All right. Man City, top. Sorry, Alex. Arsenal, second.
You tipped me the $1.70 favourite. Like, surprise.
You could probably flip them, though. Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and as I mentioned before, Newcastle. I think they're not going to dip,
Relegated.
Wolves, as I just mentioned. I didn't have Sheffield in there, but Marcus has convinced me on Sheffield. And then Luton Town. They just don't have enough money to spend to be competitive.
Who did you have in there?
I had Bournemouth because I don't trust Bournemouth, but you made some good points, so I've changed them.
My top 4, I'm with Arsenal. I said I think they can win the title, so I'm going to stick to it. Man City to run second, Liverpool third, and United in for fourth. My relegated teams are Luton, Bournemouth, and one of Sheffield and Everton.
Which one?
Don't know. One of the two. Doesn't matter. All right. Doesn't matter. I've declared Luton to run last. Marcus, what have you got?
Top 4, I've gone Man City to go 4 in a row.
Yep.
Man United to finish second.
That's going to...
I mean, it's still Champions League.
True.
It's all right.
I've gone Arsenal to finish third and Liverpool to finish fourth. Although I think, Arsenal or Liverpool could... that second, third, and fourth is really up
close. I agree.
I think we're in for one of the best title races ever. Like we're like one team in sixth beats third, and it's like what the AFL is at the moment. It's just like what has happened.
Relegated wise, I think Everton or Wolves in that 18th place. 19th, I've gone Luton and Sheffield United last.
All right.
20th.
Nice.
All right. I like it. All right. This is for the social media team. Give us some big and bold calls for the social team to clip up. Marcus just said off the cuff 3 months ago that Brentford, we're going to get relegated. What do we got?
I do think they will. They won't get relegated, but I think they will definitely drop off. I think they'll be around probably 16th by Christmas. Around.
Okay, that'd be interesting.
So I think that could definitely happen.
Tony is a big out. So
and the loss of David Raya as well. I think that could be a big out.
Underratedly good.
Yeah. He saved their bacon on a lot of occasions.
He's coming to Arsenal.
Yeah, I know.
But for big calls, I've fallen in love with him in pre-season player, Nicholas Jackson. For Chelsea. I've gone top 5 goal scorer this season. I reckon he could be a shout. And I think Tottenham fans to be undefeated by the North London derby. Tottenham to be undefeated. Their fans will be singing Andrew's name.
Imagine if both teams were undefeated going into that.
They got a decent run.
A decent run. I think the only tough team they play is I can't remember off the top of my head. It might be Manchester United.
Yep. Okay.
And then, I think that's a big call.
That's go. You got anything?
I didn't write it down, but I'm just going to go Darwin Núñez to lead the goals. I was a bit iffy on him before. Lead the goals for Liverpool.
Okay.
Lead the goals for Liverpool at $5. I thought that was pretty good value.
I mean, you get like $6
or
$12.
Salah usually does
$12 for him to be top scorer without Haaland.
But if Núñez finished all the shots he had last season, he was going to be up there for him. So I don't mind that.
I think Julian Lopetegui will be the first manager to get sacked. Wolves manager will be sacked. He'll be the first one sacked, and I'm going to say by the start of October. So I'm getting 6 weeks. I think there's, as Marcus said, there's some unrest going on behind the scenes. I think he's in a lot of trouble. If they get smashed in the first couple of games, they're in trouble.
Nice.
All right, it is time for...
It's best bets. It's best bets. It's time for all the best bets.
All right, quickly run through these. Arsenal to win Arsenal without Man City, $3.25, so finish second to Man City, we win. Burnley to finish higher than West Ham at $3.50. Luton under 32 points at $1.90. Evan Ferguson, stats guy's man from Brighton, and my boy to score 15 or more goals at $2. The season handicap. Aston Villa plus 30 points at $15. So Man City, Man City are off scratch. So you start. So basically, you start from Man City, and then you just add the points there going up. That's the season handicap. But it's also, I think,
they 30 off last year.
It'll actually end up whoever's in first. So Arsenal are plus 10. So if they get whatever, You add that on top. So plus 30 would have won them the league last year as well.
Oh, wow.
And I think with that
15
pre-season under Emery, pretty happy to
28
take
points
that.
off last season.
Yeah, so plus 30 gets them to the win.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be funny if they got a trophy for the handicap. Anyway.
Sure, it's a participation trophy. Stats guy, go.
Just going to mention some of the bets I already said. My favourite one is Man City, Arsenal, top two either order. I just think no matter who wins the tie, it's going to be one of those two.
Yep.
So $3.20 is a really good bet there. Wolves to be relegated, as I mentioned just before. I think they could be one of the worst teams this year, just don't have any scoring power. And then I'm going to finish with Aston Villa, Emery's pre-season, as Alex just mentioned. Them to finish higher than Brighton. I think Brighton slip a little bit. Villa's squad, especially with their recruits, just look absolutely awesome.
Nice. Marcus.
Lovely. I haven't jotted it down here, but I'll go. I've mentioned him, Højlund, for $2.10.
Yep.
Manchester United top goal scorer. I think that's pretty handy.
Yep.
And then just a couple ones to put your house on. Gamble responsibly. Sheffield United to be relegated at $1.67.
Yep.
And subsequently Bournemouth to finish above Sheffield at $1.50.
Yep, cool.
Nice. All right, that is the EPL season preview done and dusted. Holy crap, I think we went way too long. Apologies to Gerald.
Gerald's
Leo, good luck clipping that one up. But this will be on the daily feed as well because it is the CodeBet Daily for today. But this is going to be on the EPL feed as well on Spotify. We'll be coming at you probably, I guess we'll have to do it Friday because I don't have time on Thursday this week.
Yeah.
We'll endeavour to do these shows every Wednesday for the upcoming week in the EPL. Check out Marcus's stuff at oz.com.au. That's the only plug you're going to get, Marcus. Check out the Stats Guy and I. A lot of stuff going up, codebet.com.au. All of our social medias, our little cheat sheet actually dropped down during the show there. Gerald, so thanks for the flash card. Check us out on X, Threads,
Twitter.
Twitch. X is Twitter, Stats Guy.
Yeah,
Good job.
What about X?
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. All the good stuff going up there. Leo's going to be doing a mountain of work with all of this going up. Also, check out our YouTube. Give us a thumbs up there if you're going to watch a video. Call me an idiot. Call Stats Guy an idiot. As you can see on the computers, we have these CodeBet stickers. If you slide into our DMs and show us that you've given us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, we will send you a sticker.
I might do that.
There's a good
so I can get another
incentive.
sticker.
Look at that.
Lovely.
That's a great idea there. Thanks to you, Stats Guy.
Thank you.
I need a quick question. Are they a scratch and sniff sticker?
Gerald?
They
are not. He's saying no. We would have put Musk of Stats Guy on there.
No one wants that. No one wants that.
But most importantly, what do we say here, Stats Guy?
Gamble responsibly.
Mate, all your picks come in. Happy punting. Hopefully the odds are in your favour, unless you're a Tottenham fan, because I hope you stink. It's CodeBet Daily. We'll catch you next week on the EPL show, because we're out.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.